Get ready for the world's greatest Arsenal podcast. Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Enjoy the show.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Guns and Yellow Ribbons. My name is Fergus. We're joined back by old man Trev. He's aged. God, has he aged. Also, we are joined by Princess Gooner, Amanda, and the sound of the clock end Ben Bennett, who has done an article in the Gooner fanzine, which we will talk about later in the show. We are going to talk about the Liverpool game. We're going to look ahead to the Newcastle game, and we're going to talk about atmosphere and stuff at grounds and all the other stuff that we do on the Gooner Debate. Ben, welcome back to the show. That's 2 weeks running. Christ, you'll be on the payroll next.
I know, Fergus. I'm absolutely honoured to be back. I can't believe it.
That means you have to pay me, by the way.
It took me about 2 years for you to get me on, and now two in 2 weeks. So, make the most of it.
And Amanda, you're back on with us again. You were unwell last week. You had this bloody lurgy I had and coughs and colds. So how are you feeling? You're all right?
Yeah, I'm better. My voice keeps going and I'm coughing like a trooper, but I'm not ill at all anymore. Hi, Joe. It's just, I didn't have COVID. I just had a really bad heavy cold and everything. So I'm glad that Trev and Ben are all right now. Me and you just had colds, didn't we? So
yeah. I'd COVID enough for anybody already. So I had enough for the last year. So I didn't want any of it this year. Trev, Kai's happy to have you back.
Ah,
yeah.
At least somebody is.
Listen, Fergus, I can't be asked with shouting at you all night tonight. So just keep your voice down a bit, right? Speak sense and listen to what the old man says, right? Kai, thank you very much. I'm not going to linger on it. I got COVID. I think I got it at Leicester. It put me right. I'm not the youngest man, as everyone knows. It put me right on my backside for well over a week, near a fortnight. I'm still not 100%, but I'm much better. Thank you, everyone, for the get well messages. Really appreciate it. And then I'm not going to say any more on it because we have to move on from it. So thank you, Kai, and thank you, Dan and Joe and everyone else that wish me well. I appreciate it very much. And I'm going on.
So we went to... Yeah, I know.
But I'm not going
to, really, isn't it?
I'm not going to Woodbine because Fergus is going into Woodbine and I'm going to dodge him.
Yeah, well, there's a few of us have gone to the Woodbine. Mihal, the owner there, is doing Movember, and I've just donated on behalf of Guns and Yellow Ribbons to his Movember campaign in aid of prostate cancer. So if you want to go onto their Instagram, it's the Woodbine. Make a donation. He's trying to raise £1,000. He's at about 500 quid. So do it. I would stick up a link, but I didn't even prepare that. It was only because Trev dropped in his anti-Woodbine things, even though I've got the best pint of Guinness in North London, So 10 games unbeaten.
Oh, wait a minute, you calm down a minute, you. There was nothing anti-Woodbine in what I said. It wasn't anti-Woodbine at all.
It's anti-you.
Thank you, Princess. Thank you very much, Princess. Right.
Oh, poor Fergus.
Oh, yeah. First big test in 10 games. We had 10 games unbeaten. A lot of people said to us, trust the process is working, Project Youth. A lot of people said we've played nobody. Yet again, I could see improvement against the likes of Burnley, less so against Brighton, but even Watford. Games that we thought that in previous years we wouldn't have won. We probably would have drawn or capitulated and lost. Liverpool going to Anfield was a huge test. The 5:30 kickoff on Saturday was a huge test. Ben, you travelled up there. What were your feelings en route and leading up to it? I know you were in the Arkle and you all had a good sing-song and everything else as well.
Well, first things first, I was actually dangerously optimistic. After 10 games, you don't feel confident, but you feel like there's something there to have a little go at. And I thought, dangerously optimistic was the right 2 words about it. But it was just see how far we had come, really. But the golfing class between Liverpool and us is just so big. I mean, rightly so. I mean, they've been together as a team for pretty much. The Klopp's built that team now, only over the period of 5-6 years, and we are still building. We're going to be building for a while yet, and the golfing class just showed in the end a little bit of experience, and a couple of the players like the Conga and Tavares, obviously going to benefit from the experience for the future. But yeah, I mean, we for 40 minutes we gave as good as we got. I thought we put the tackles in. We was out the blocks, which we have been consistently this season, which has been a big plus, because we've been over the many years we've been really slow starters, but I felt this season we've certainly improved on that department, and we done it again on Saturday. Of course, we're going to have spells where we was under the cosh. Ramsdale kept us in it a few times.
We'll go into the game in a little bit more detail shortly, but before, I'm just trying to get the gauge of where people were. Trev, ahead of the game, the head-to-head for 33 matches, Klopp versus Arteta's 2021 record, wasn't too bad. Arteta had a slight edge by winning 18 games versus Klopp's 17 games. Every reason to be maybe optimistic that we might nick it or get a draw or get some sort of result up there, wouldn't you have thought?
Yeah, look, Ferg, you know me well enough by now, mate, to know that stats don't really bother me. Stats can be twisted and turned, and they very rarely show a true picture of what's going on. I mean, like Ben, much like my good mate Ben said, I was very optimistic about going to Liverpool, and when we got beat like we did, I was absolutely devastated. But I wasn't devastated because of the performance. I was devastated because my team, the Arsenal, got beat. And if you're not devastated anytime the Arsenal get beat, then you should be. But we were okay. We came up against possibly the best side in the country on their day, right? And we really put a show up for the first 40 minutes. We really gave as good as we got, and then and Ben summed it up. I can't really say anything different about it, Ferg. Ben summed up in that we showed our age and our inexperience. When the game, when we had the key, obviously, as we've all spoken about, was Klopp and Arteta having chucking their handbags at each other, and that lifted the Liverpool players, and it seemed to make our lads a little bit tentative of responding to that, and that was it. That was game over. I knew from that moment onwards that we weren't going to come back and win it. I just hoped that we held our own and didn't get too embarrassed. And even though it was 4-0, I saw enough positives there, Fergus, to keep me looking forward to watching us this week. We weren't bad. We were inexperienced. We weren't bad.
I think that's a good assessment. Inexperienced rather than poor. And I think a lot of us went into the game thinking, it was more about the performance rather than the result. If I think I even said on here last week, the week before, that if we went there and lost 1-0 but put in a decent performance, I would have been happy. Amanda, your thoughts on leading up to it? Going into it, did you have any hope? I know realistically we're all blinkered, we're Arsenal fans, we've got our rose-tinted glasses on and everything else, but had you seen the improvement that made you think, hang on a second, we can give them a game if we play the right way?
Well, I was interviewed. I was invited onto a Liverpool podcast last week called the Anfield Index, and I've been on there a couple of times over the years. And I went on, and I was a tiny bit of hope. There was a tiny bit of hope that we could at least go and not capitulate, and maybe at the most get a draw. But I was sort of laughing with the Liverpool guy, and he was very concerned about Emile Smith-Rowe and Saka and going through their midfield and stuff. And I sat there and I said, yeah, you got Salah and God knows who else. So I was a little bit apprehensive to even think about a draw. And I knew we wouldn't win. In my head, there was no way we were going to win. And we did give them a game, Fergus, for 41 minutes. We did. And the situation is that Mane was committing fouls all over the pitch. And the foul he actually committed, the last one, Arteta lost it. Now, yes, you don't do that at Anfield because of all grounds and of all fans, it completely lifted the fans and lifted the team, and then that was it. It was finished. I don't blame Arteta for that, but maybe he's got to learn that he's going to have to keep it quite calm in situations. Maybe not at the Emirates so much, but at Anfield. Okay, you know I'm a massive advocate of Mikel, but I haven't got a problem criticising things. But in the heat of the moment, he got so frustrated with what Mane was doing. And if you remember last season, Mane elbowed Tierney and he should have been sent off for that. So I think there's a little bit of history there. And Mane is a little bit of he's a nudger, isn't he? He's a bit of an annoying, get in there, leaves his foot in player. Not dirty, but he's a little bit that can wind you up, and he does it for his team. And it worked. Did I think we were going to win? No. Did I think we were going to draw? Slightly. I was disappointed in our second half performance. I just thought, shame really, because we're at Anfield. We can go for it. I think we're already 2-0 down by then. It was just a shame that we went like that. And I also feel that he should have brought Martinelli on for Aubameyang a bit earlier. And
you're jumping so far ahead.
Sorry.
You're so far ahead. We're still in the first half. Ben, let's look at where the commentators on Sky, where the BBC Match of the Day commentators said it all changed. And Amanda touched on it. It was that foul on Tomiyasu, and Arteta lost his head. I thought it was a little bit. I thought it was a bit overreactionary by Arteta, and I didn't really understand why. I also thought that the comments from the various
Can I just say one thing,
saying,
Fergus? One thing. Remember, he's an ex-Evertonian, so he's already got that with them. If it was like Spurs, can you understand? He's always, the crowd were on him. You know, he's under pressure every single game. He's at Anfield and he's watching Mane commit foul after foul, and they just lost it. I can understand that. I can. It didn't help us. Sorry, carry on. Just wanted to mention he's an Evertonian.
No, I'm conscious of your sore throat and your and your cough. So,
yeah.
Ben, what did you make of that? And then the subsequent free kick and the first half performance generally overall. Go on.
I was actually going to say the same thing what Amanda just said. Actually, I did the Evertonian bit in there because, literally the whole atmosphere of their crowd changed on that incident. I mean, they was quiet, we was loud, we winding them up with the anti-Scouse songs as usual up there, and literally they just woke up out their seats once Arteta went a bit mad. Yeah, he did, and it was a heat in the moment thing, and maybe a little bit of experience on the manager front and on the big stage, but I don't blame him in the slightest. And Mane has history, obviously, with the Tierney incident last year where he should have deliberate elbows and sending off all day long. He's an absolute wind-up, and he done it again on Saturday. And you can understand Arteta's reaction, but on the first goal, it's just a shame really, because I mean, overall recently I thought we've been defending set pieces a lot better, and then letting Mane, being one of the probably one of the smallest players on the pitch, get a free header, and it's just the game changed, didn't it, from there. It's just a shame we couldn't have seen out the first half, the last 6 minutes of the first half, and got in at 0-0.
You know what? That's a huge point. And Trev, I messaged you because just before, I messaged the group, and I think Ben, you were on that as well. But I messaged and said, this is what I like to see: a bit of spirit, fight, and unity. All we need is a goal, and bang, Liverpool scored from that free kick. Trev, that pick up from where Ben was talking about on that. It was just a shame not to go in at half-time 0-0, wouldn't it? I think if we went in 0-0, a bit of half-time team talk,
Fergus,
it could have been a different game.
Take a breath so we can all get a word in. If you don't breathe in a minute, you're going to run out of oxygen and pass out. Listen, I sort of have a bit of a different perspective on the Arteta thing to Princess and Ben, in that I think Arteta obviously he's an Evertonian, so there is that in there. But I think the main thing is that Arteta is very protective of his football team, and he knows what kind of manager Jurgen Klopp is. Jurgen Klopp is always gesticulating on that touchline. He's always trying to get the ear of the fourth official and and the linesman. He's always the victim. He's Jurgen Klopp, and he's a good manager for that in a way. But Arteta decided to play him at his own game, and Arteta weren't having none of it. And I was over the moon to see Arteta going at him like that. So he was looking after our team. Joe Tester put a comment a little while ago, and Joe knows her stuff. We all know Joe, and we all love Joe. And she said that Liverpool were being dirty and fouling and laughed. And I thought they were. And it'd be interesting to get you guys' views, because Mane, you're right in what you said, Princess. Last season, he was horrible against us. I mean, it wasn't a push to the face of Tierney. It was a proper whack.
Yeah.
And it should have been a straight red. And then he's been at it again all the first half. Niggle, and he's not got done for it. And Arteta's had enough. But what I don't notice Mane being that kind of player against any other sides. Maybe it's not really bothered. I don't know. But when I see Mane play against any other team, I don't think of him as that dirty, horrible, sneaky little sod, you know. And against Arsenal, that is exactly what he is. He's dirty, sneaky, horrible. And I was so proud of Arteta for saying to Jurgen Klopp, hang on a minute, I'm not having none of this. You keep on with your pearly whites giving it this. I'm going to get in your face and give you some back. So, yeah, and it backfired because it fired Liverpool off, didn't it? And they started playing a whole different level. But I ain't knocking Arteta for what he did. I was pleased with what he did.
Yeah, Trev, I get that. I do get that.
Are you all right, sweetheart?
Sorry. I do get that, Trev, but I would like to say, and I'm a massive fan of Mikel, but I will criticise when it's true. It was a little bit silly to do it at Anfield. Now, I know you can't plan it when you get the red mist. I totally get that. But of all places to do it, there probably, and Spurs really, would be stupid. And as much as I was like you, I was going, it's so good to see Mikel got passion and stuff like that. And we want to see that. We've never seen it from him before. But it had a detrimental effect on our play and our game, and we lost. And it was raised from that moment onwards, Trev. They got the crowd behind them, completely behind them. I'm telling you now, there's no atmosphere at Anfield. I don't care what anyone says. I've been there 4 or 5 times when it is dead silent. It takes a lot for them to raise. Champions League nights are different. The place is rocking, but it's silent, and their voices were heard the minute after that happened. And unfortunately, it changed it for us. I'm not blaming him, but I think he needs to look at that and maybe calm that next time.
There was many comments actually made. There was many comments made actually about how for that 40 minutes or 35 minutes or so, we did silence the cop and stuff. And I think it does make a difference when the home fans are quiet and you can hear the Arsenal fans singing. Let's look into the second half, and Tavares, Jota took advantage of Tavares' mistake to roll a ball into the empty net before Mane came across and slotted in a third. But let's look at the Tavares mistake. Tavares, look, for me, I spoke to Trevor on... Trev, when did I speak to you on? It was a Saturday or Sunday. It's probably way too soon. Yeah, but yeah. But I said to you that 2 players had a bad day at the office, and I think we both agreed for once. 2 players had a really bad day at the office, which was Sammy Lokonga and Tavares. There's another player we discussed, which we'll talk about in a minute with the others, that I thought was a bit hit and miss, and we disagreed on. But talk me through that Tavares mistake and what you thought of it.
I'm not going to get on the lad's back, Fergus, because as we just said, we're an inexperienced side, and he's just a kid. But I was disappointed in the way the mistake. It wasn't a mistake. It was awful. It was worse than a mistake. It was just an inside pass. And what frustrates me when that happens is that I always look and see what his positioning is, and he had loads of options in front of him. Yeah, he had loads of options in front of him. He could have hoofed it. He could have played it short and forward. But no, he went. It was. We're not going to linger on it, but it was quite Xhaka-like actually. The turn and the look to pass it backwards, and it went. And he couldn't have looked up because it went straight to the Liverpool player, didn't it? And it's an open goal. But I'm not going to berate him for it, Fergus. What I'm going to hope is he learns from it, and I think we will. And I think that for me, a target is that we get to a stage, and it may not be far away, that Arteta can do whatever he bloody well likes on the line at whatever ground he bloody well likes, because he knows that his players have improved enough to back him. Go out there and put a performance in, and really. That's the position Klopp's in at the moment, isn't it? That's why we see these big, horrible, pearly white smiles of Klopp's, because he knows he's got the team there. That whatever he does, he's going to get a performance out of them. But remember, this Liverpool team we watch now has taken how many years to develop?
About 5 years, Ben, eh?
Yeah.
It's about 5 years, yeah.
You know, so it's always worth bearing that in mind.
Ben, you were there. How did the Arsenal faithful, well, first of all, see it? Was it your end or not? I think it was the opposite end. And what was the reaction amongst the Arsenal faithful at Tavares and that mistake?
I mean, going into half time, I thought we backed the team throughout the first half. Even when the first goal went in, we still backed the Riots at half time. But we all discussed at half time that we were still in a game at 1-0. We was fed up of going up there and the game was over in 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And we was only 1-0 down at half time. So we actually come out into the second half, back into our stands with hope that we could maybe still get something, even though we was ineffective first half. We didn't create a lot. We might have had a couple of little breaks on the counter, but I didn't think the final ball was great. And but you never know at 1-0, do you? I mean, like I say, when we've gone up there so many times over the last 9 years and got absolutely hammered before we've even started playing, it was just, in a way, it was a positive. Arteta got a performance out of them first half, and it was something to build on. So yeah, I mean, that was a really frustrating thing, because we've obviously come out and we've thought we've had a chance here of getting something, and then of course it kind of, once Tavares makes that pass, and it's a little, I would say, of course he had options ahead of him. I mean, Trev said it go down the line or even if he's got to go long, then, but he's trying to play the right way. He's obviously been told to play the correct way, and he's got caught overplaying. So a little bit of an experience, but it's just a shame really, because at 2-0, that's really game over. Then we're not coming back from that. It was because more so for the fact that we haven't created enough to come back into the game. We haven't got the firepower to come back, even against the smaller clubs. To be honest, I think we're so weak up front that we badly need to strengthen in January, and a striker number 9 is an absolute must.
100% agree. 100% agree. We are, and I get a second. I just want to finish on the defensive side of things with Amanda. Amanda, like the player that I questioned slightly as having on and off was Ben White. But generally, I didn't say he had an awful game, Trev. I just said, he struggled a little. But our defence in general struggled. There's a comment in here from Jerry. Jerry said...
Jerry Brady's nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. No one's talking about
Tavares obviously had a mare for the... but the first goal, Gabriel didn't cover himself in glory, but everyone's talking about Tavares. But I think Tomiyasu at points was a little bit, suspect. But we're up against probably the most prolific forward line, except for maybe City, in the league. And if we compare ourselves prior to the transfer window, when we played Chelsea and City, and we kept it. It sounds like a really awful statistic, but we kept a clean sheet for 40 minutes. We didn't keep a clean sheet for 5 minutes against those other two sides. And those top three in the league, they're in a separate league completely. But what did you make of our overall defensive thing? And then we will talk about the Aubameyang, Lacazette stuff as well.
I thought it was poor. I thought it was poor, but you're right. It is against one of the most prolific sides we've ever had in our Premier League. So all I can say is that Can you hear my dog barking or not? I'm sorry if you can hear.
I thought it was Carl.
It's our puppy, who is 5 months old and can hear my voice, no doubt, and is barking like a lunatic.
And what's his name?
His name's Rocky, of course. Rocky.
Whee.
Yeah. So, going back to the defense, but I find it really, really hard to criticise Tavares and obviously Lokonga for the mistakes, because they're young, they're going to learn. I don't think we should get on their back. No one's going to have a perfect game. If anything, I'd get on Aubameyang's back regularly, but I just don't feel comfortable doing that. They're young, they're going to learn, and hopefully they'll learn from their mistakes. But Gabriel and White and even Tomiyasu, they weren't up to what we'd been seeing in the last 10 games, that's for sure. Rocky the dog.
John Malone likes the name of the dog.
Princess, well said. Sorry, Ferg. Sorry, mate. But well said, Princess, because if you want to sum up the game at the end, just to keep your brain ticking over, you've got to think to yourself, were we really, really that bad? Or did we just have a group of youngsters that came up against not only a really, really good side, but a really, really good side that played to the top of their game on the day? And we've got to look at that and move on. Fergus, my mate Shane King, right, is an Australian Shane. Can you see that comment, Shane? Fergus, my mate Shane.
I'll find it. Hang on. How far up is it, Trev?
Four from the bottom. Five from the bottom now. Shane King.
Yeah. When will KT be available?
An Australian mate of mine, Ferg. He watches us. I didn't realise he watched us most weeks. He's in Melbourne. I love the man to bits. We spent a lot of time.
Shane, stop 1 second. Shane, if you're in Melbourne, you need to go to the Bowerbird, which is Max Ware's pub, and it's a gin bar. Got to go there.
He knows all about it, Fergus. Don't you think I've already told?
I'm just helping my mate out.
Right, good, golly. But Shane's a top man, and Shane, to answer your question, mate. To answer your question, Shane, KT has been available for the last couple of games, but he's been on the bench because Tavares has been playing really well, in fairness to Tavares. So, but I would imagine we will see Tierney this Saturday. Hello, Princess. Are you all right, sweetheart?
Yeah, I'm just calming the dog.
Trev knows that story. He's got walls missing and stuff like that since he's got his new dog.
Yes, puppies, eh?
Listen, Aubameyang, Saka, we were a threat in the counter, but Alisson was reasonably comfortable. Van Dijk and Matip, they were solid for Liverpool. We talked, and the three of you have touched on Aubameyang and Lacazette. Aubameyang for me has been probably the poorer of the two, if we were to mention the two regular strikers. He just seems, I don't know, there's the odd game. He started against Norwich, he got that goal that type of went to his favour, and then he seemed to get a little bit better, and then he's just gone backwards again. Should the substitutions... So I'll encompass these two questions together. So about their performances, and should... no, let's answer that one, actually. Princess, Aubameyang. Go on, talk to me. What?
I don't know what to
Ben,
say
don't shake
anymore.
your head. Do not shake your head
sing.
to that song. That's an excellent song.
Aubameyang. I don't know anymore. I really don't. He had a terrible, as we know, 18 months. Then he came back and started to play a little bit better. And then, first of all, he's not my captain. Never be my captain. And I'm gutted, really, because, he was absolutely world-class before he signed his contract. The next week he signed his contract, couldn't hit a barn door. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. But we need something. We're not scoring goals. We're not scoring enough goals.
No, it's true. Trev...
how strange is that,
yeah,
mate?
Me and you, before Amanda and Ben jumped on, we were just sitting here waiting for it to go live. And Trevor's comment was, as soon as he signed that contract, and I went, here we go. We're going to talk about Oza. We're going to talk about 350 grand a week. And I said, I don't care what somebody gets paid, and because that's just down to negotiation. But it is very, very much a coincidence. Trev, I'll let you carry on your thoughts on that one.
For me, it was a coincidence, Fergus, and we've rattled on about the performance of Aubameyang and Lacazette for a long while now, and there's all different perspectives been put on it. Like they don't get the supply they should. Well, the fact of the matter is they've got 3 internationals playing behind them now, so they should be getting the supply. There's all sorts of ways of looking at it, but the fact of the matter is, however you look at it, the fact is we're not scoring enough goals. So we need a refresh up front. We need, in my view, 2 new strikers. And I'm not having to go at Aubameyang or Lacazette for that, because I can't put my finger on why they're not scoring, But the fact of the matter is they're not. So we need a refresh. We need a change. We need to lift it. And that is the most important thing for January for me. We need to buy a striker or 2. People say give Balogun a run, give Martinelli a run, but with the greatest respect to them kids, neither of them has knocked me socks off when they've played either. So we need to bring in some new faces that are going to lift it and liven it up and see where we go from there. I can't see how.
But Trev, he hasn't really given Martinelli a go, has he? And I don't know why.
I was about to ask Ben that very question about like Arteta and the substitutions. To give it a refresh. Did he refresh it in the right way? Should he have brought Martinelli on for, say, Lacazette, who seems to only last 60, 65 minutes? Should he, should he have even risked Balogun? I don't know I can't remember who was on the bench, but Martinelli definitely was on the bench, but he can't get a look in. Is this the area that people talk about Arteta's tactical awareness? Is he slightly naive when it comes to substitutions?
He seems to like keeping Aubameyang on for far too long in a lot of games, to be honest. There's so many games he's ineffective, but sometimes for some reason he gets the nice treatment, to be honest. But yeah, he should have gone off. Martinelli should have come on, a little fresh ideas. I don't know what. He's clearly fit enough. He's making the bench. If you're not fit enough, you don't make the bench, do you? So I think he's just reluctant to take Aubameyang off. But for me, it was just that he got that wrong. I also thought with the substitutions, I actually thought Odegaard should have come on straight after the second goal. I know they didn't score between the time of the second goal and the third goal when Odegaard wasn't on the pitch. But for me, Odegaard's the only player we've got who can control and ease their kind of pressure and control a bit of the tempo of the game. His distribution is so much better than what we've got. So I thought he should have come on earlier. Like I said, they didn't score in that time between the second and third goal, and he wasn't on the pitch. But I still think it would have made a difference with regards to pressure. But yeah, if you look at Liverpool, they've got Mane and Salah, and we've got Aubameyang and Lacazette. There's no comparisons for me. It's just, it's
to be honest,
top level.
Lacazette is in that top level, and he's an elite striker. And sorry, not Lacazette. Aubameyang is. He's probably now past it, and Lacazette's there or thereabouts. But yeah. Listen. To finish up on the Liverpool game, I'm going to ask Amanda a question, and I'm expecting a long answer.
You know that comment you just put up from Joanne Tester?
Yes.
The big comment. I totally agree, but I just don't understand.
So Joanne, for people on audio, said, I don't think what the real issue, supply is the real issue. Going forward, really good forwards make themselves available and always demand the ball. Auba hides. He doesn't demand the ball. He makes it very difficult for the midfield to find him.
But I'm not sure he hides. I just don't think he's in the right positions at the right time. He's not on his feet. He's not on his toes anymore. I don't know. I just think he's being played because he's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Personally, I think that's the reason. And how long can we play him for? But sorry, go on. I just wanted to bring up Joanne's point.
No. And to be honest, I meant to talk about it. Go on, Trev.
I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry, Fag. Because Preet says he's exactly right, what she said earlier. Aubameyang, captains are not just about screaming and shouting and wearing an armband. A good captain has got this presence about them, right? You look at them. You don't even have to see him play or talk to them. You look at them and you think, that bloke's a captain. That bloke's a leader. And Aubameyang doesn't do any of them things. And it does worry me greatly. And the other thing is, it's a little thing, but it's something I've noticed about Aubameyang. He's got something going on at Arsenal. I don't know what it is, because he takes the penalties right. And his penalties are awful. He scores a few of them, most of them, because the goalkeeper's got to guess the right way. But he puts the ball. You watch when he takes a penalty, it always go about waist height for a goalkeeper and never in the corner. If the goalkeeper guesses the right way, he ain't going to score every time. And I want to see a penalty taker that even if the goalkeeper guesses the right way, that ball slamming in the top corner, you know. That one, who did he miss one against a couple of 3 weeks ago, guys?
Watford.
Watford. Yeah. I never
Watford.
thought he would score that. And then I still struggled to forgive him for the one at Tottenham away a couple of seasons ago at Wembley because that was one of the worst penalties I've ever seen. It was more like a back pass, waist height, about 2 foot to the goalkeepers. If the goalkeeper hadn't saved it, he'd have been embarrassed. So
it's an absolute mystery, isn't it, Trev? What's happened to him? It's a mystery, absolute.
It is, Princess. It is absolutely a mystery. It's mind-boggling. I don't know, but as we just said, whatever the cause is, we can't keep on with it. I think this January, strikers could be, fingers crossed, the last part of Mikel Arteta's jigsaw. That is my hope. In my head, that's my hope. He's bought his defence. The defence has completely changed since the Man City game when we got hammered. He's bought his goalkeeper. He's got his midfield, although I do think we could do with a deeper, creative midfield player. But the last part, where he's not spent, is forwards, is strikers. And I'm praying that come January, we put that right.
I think that's the project, isn't it, to build up midfield wise. The question I was going to put to Amanda to finish up on this game is, okay, we talk about the first 40 minutes and that we held our own. It would have been nice to go in 0-0 at half time. At 1-0, Ben clearly said that we're still in the game, and that's how the fans felt there. Did we capitulate?
Oh, that's an ask, that is.
Yeah, it didn't feel like capitulations of over the last few years, but we lost 4-0. I'll say no and yes, if you get what I mean. I'm in the middle with that one. You know what I mean, don't you? It's really hard because I wasn't very despondent at the end of it, I'm afraid. I agree with Martin. I don't think we did. See, Joe says yes, Martin says no. I'm in the middle of it. I just feel we managed that game for 40 minutes. We took it to them. We stopped them playing, and it's a shame. That's all. And I think we just have to. It's a bad day at the office. It always is. It generally is at Anfield. It's a shame we didn't get a goal back, even at 3-0.
Ben, you were up there with Joe and everything else. Did you feel like we capitulated?
Now you got me. I don't know. I think the class just told in the end. I don't think we capitulated. I don't think we gave up. I mean, when the goals start going in, that's when you really look for your captains, don't you? I mean, Aubameyang's just non-existent. I like to see him maybe go around to 2 or 3 players, maybe just having a little word in their ear and have a look, especially the younger, experienced players. I don't think we totally capitulated. I mean, the scoreline reflects that we did, and of course, Ramsdale made some absolutely great saves. He's probably saved it. It could actually have been 7 or 8. But no, I don't. It didn't look like they'd given up or anything like that. I mean, like I say, the first 40 minutes gives me the impression that they've got the right attitude there, and they're playing for Mikel. So, no, I wouldn't say like we have capitulated there.
So a question for you then, Ben. Have we progressed? Have you seen progress since January? Or sorry, the transfer window.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have.
Good.
More so, like I said earlier on, we are starting games. We're starting games on the front foot, and that's a big plus, and that's an absolute must that had to get changed, and we are. And we also got a great crop of players that are actually there to play for the manager. We've had in the past certain players that do play for the manager, certain players don't. I actually feel like we've got a team there. We've also got a team there that's appreciates the fans. The fans appreciate the players. They appreciate in the hard work that's getting put in. I think we're badly needing to sort out this front line. Like I said earlier on, I said, look, about Mane and Salah, they're different level to Aubameyang and Lacazette, and it's just, and we also needed that outlet when the pressure was really on. We didn't do enough in the wide areas, and we have, like, going back to it, I think we have progressed, and we obviously need to find this bounce back ability on Saturday against Newcastle. The reactions, your favourite word, Trev, and that's key now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was expecting Hillsy to come out with, like, he's going to go to see Peppa Pig next or something like that, after bounce back ability. But Trev, what Ben said there links us very nicely into the atmosphere. The atmosphere at the away game, which sadly you think you got COVID at Leicester, was outstanding. We talked about atmosphere on the previous podcast of that one, and Ben accosted me and you gone, I should have been on that one because we're talking about Tottenham songs being sang and not sang at irrelevant games, inappropriate games. But I felt the atmosphere was fantastic. I could hear Sky are quite funny the way they manipulate the sound, but I could hear the Arsenal faithful singing throughout the game. Even at 4-0 down, they were singing long and hard at Anfield. We got a 12:30 kickoff on Saturday. The atmosphere, what do you reckon it's going to be like? No 2-for-1 beers to get people, like, warmed up and get their larynx going. Talk to me, Trev.
Oh, you're talking to me, are you? What was you say? You've been rattling on for that long. I weren't really listening to you. I was bored with you. But
well, you're normally scowling. What you on about?
I take it. Listen, just before we move on to Newcastle, we have progressed, right? You can draw comparisons about progression since the turn of the year. You can look at what happened. Now, you see, Man City away was a capitulation, right?
Yeah, that was.
Right,
Yeah.
That was a capitulation. Liverpool away, we got beaten on the day. Our kids got beaten by a stronger, better football team, and I can easily move on from that. Without, if you want to do a comparison to the last couple of seasons, just look at one game. Look at Leicester away. We went to Leicester away, scored a couple of early goals, and completely controlled the game. Fergus, last couple of seasons at Leicester, we've gone to Leicester and fell apart. And got turned over, So there is progression. Moving on to Newcastle this Saturday, I think the atmosphere will be fine. To be honest, there's no way you will ever get £6 out of me for a pint of them dregs that they call beer in the Arsenal ground. I suffered it at £3 a pint when it was 2 for 1, but you wouldn't get £6 out of me, and I don't think that many people would, to be honest. I think it's an early kickoff, so we've got to get there early. Are you going, Ben?
Sorry, Ben. I had you on mute for a second. Go on.
No, of course, only because of COVID, I had to change my weekend going up to see the kids. So that was actually a blank weekend, but I've had to obviously change it now. So I'm going up this weekend. So I'm afraid to say I'm going to miss Saturday, and I'm going to miss you.
Family's more important.
Ben,
we know that, right? Family's more important.
Yeah, sure is.
We'll be all right against Newcastle. I'm sure that them young kids. You see, the good thing about young kids having a young team is that they're not going to sit on the fault of that defeat at Liverpool for long. They'll already have it in their heads now. We're going out Saturday. It's a new game, new start, and they're full of effort, full of energy. And I think if we had a striker, we'd be looking at winning big against Newcastle this weekend. But I've got no worries about the game this weekend, Fergus. I've got no doubts in my head about the fact we can win it and win it comfortably as long as we play to the best of our ability.
Ben, you've done an article this week for the Gooner fanzine, and the reason we're talking about atmosphere is the article was entitled. And sorry, I do put you on mute because you're on your phone, and sometimes there's a little bit of feedback. So that's the only reason I put you on mute. So, you've done an article. Shall I sing a song for you? Do you want to talk to people a little bit about that article, the conversations we've had before about the Tottenham songs, and lead into the Newcastle game, then, please, mate?
Well, I'll talk about atmosphere at Liverpool first, and then I'll go into it quickly because I thought the atmosphere was really good. I saw the comment that Gary put up a minute ago. He actually come up with me on Saturday. He stood right next to me. And yeah, the fans stuck with them even when the goals were going in second half. They were still singing. The players went on over to them at the end of the game. That was that very comment. And it's great to see. You know, I mean, of course, you get some of the fans that leave a little bit early and that. But I thought, as a whole, the away end was there was some serious numbers still there at the end, and that's a really, really good positive. And it's not that; it's just the players see that as well. You know, they don't want to see too many empty seats. They don't want to see the fans maybe giving up on them and things like that. I mean, I thought that was brilliant the way that the crowd did, the fans did keep with the team at the end. Overall, also, I'd like to say about the atmosphere pre-game at Liverpool. We went into the Arkles as normal, went to get a drink, and all I could hear is anti-Tottenham songs, and I literally shake my head, go and get my drink. And luckily enough, we went to the beer garden outside and found all the Ashburton Army and a lot of other like-minded fans that literally want to sing everything but the point of it is, what frustrates me, we are standing in the Arkles pub outside Anfield where we've won the league, and there's fans there that want to sing "We Won the League" at Shite Hart Lane. And what do you think of Tottenham? I'm sorry, that doesn't go with me. I want to sing anti-Scouse songs, I want to have a dig at them, and I want to back the team. And exactly what I did outside in the beer garden. That's the most frustrating thing. I love our fan base. I'll praise them all day long, but I also like to say that some of this obsession with Tottenham really needs to lower down until we're really playing them. We've always sung anti-Tottenham songs, but there's that. What do you think of Tottenham? And Tottenham get battered. We're standing in an Arkles pub. I'm sorry, there's too much.
The only thing I would say, Trev, the only thing I would say, Ben, is the Tottenham Get Battered song, which I have got a little...
Why?
That song is actually quite catchy. I can understand it.
It's catchy.
But no, hang on, Trev. But when you're playing Watford, Norwich, Chelsea, whoever it be, and they're going to stand up if you hate Tottenham, I don't give a care about that. I'm playing I'm playing Norwich. I'm playing, that's who I'm up against. And what do you think of Tottenham? But it just shows that the lack of inventiveness of some of our songs. And there was a comment much earlier which Gary said about the Aubameyang song. Boop, boop, doop, doop. Aubameyang, excellent song. Should be a number one single in the Arsenal charts, in my view. But Gary said you've got a better song. Do you want to give us a bar?
No. I'd rather not sing. To be honest, if I thought it. I'm not going. I like your song. I thought I like your song really.
Yeah, you see, I knew I'd win you round.
No, I've got better songs for other players and club songs and stuff. I'll keep hold of them for now. But yeah, overall, like I said, we went outside for a good hour outside in the beer garden. It was literally all new songs. It was anti-Liverpool songs. It was brilliant. I mean, it's just a shame it wasn't bigger, when you could have got a lot more in there. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the obsession with Tottenham is just on another level, to be honest. It needs to, some of the fans just need to go in there and start backing the team a bit more than worry about that lot down the road, to be honest.
I think as well, totally we should just need to leave the songs for when we play Tottenham. Yeah. That's it. We don't need to be singing about Tottenham in the Arkles pub. I've been to the Arkles pub. It's great. Yeah. But the problem is that Tottenham Get Battered everywhere we go. It is so catchy and it's so funny to sing. And to be fair, we don't have the best songs at our club. There's many other clubs that have much better. They do, Fergus. And it's really weird because when I go to Liverpool, I've got Scouse mates and I'll be with them and then I stand with the Arsenal. So I go to the Flatiron down the road and they do not understand. They always say this to me. Why are you singing Tottenham songs? Liverpool away, Everton away. Why are you doing it? So it is noticed by other clubs as well. And I said, well, I don't know. I just sing whatever anyone else is singing. But it's true. We should just leave it for the Tottenham games. But it is a catchy tune.
Amanda, looking at the Newcastle game, what are you expecting? Sorry, Trev, did you want to pop in on that?
It's a catchy tune, but you don't have to sing them words to it. West Ham have made their words up to exactly the same tune, and they can comfortably sing to that tune at every game they play and win. So I'm much like Ben with it, and I get angry with listening to these anti-Tottenham songs by every single week, and not just once or twice. They go on and on.
Yeah,
it drives me a distraction.
You know, like when you're sitting at the Emirates, Trev, and they stand up if you hate Tottenham. I'm trying to watch the game. I don't want to stand up if I hate Tottenham. I hate Tottenham. No Arsenal fan on this planet doesn't dislike Tottenham. So we don't need to sing about it at Arsenal playing Aston Villa or something. That's my thing. Exactly. I just think it's a bit sad, and it makes us like them, and we're not like them. They're obsessed with us. We're not obsessed with them. But if we sing like this, it's going to sound like we are. We go to their level.
Amanda, thoughts on the lineups for the Newcastle game? Would you consider resting the likes of ESR, Saka, Aubameyang, Lacazette? Would you think of rotating not all four, but any are all off?
I would play our best 11, and then when we smash Newcastle 5-0, take them off. No, I mean, look, Newcastle are bottom of the league, aren't they? I mean, you can just see it. It's so Arsenal, this, isn't it? They'll come to the Emirates. Anywhere else they go, they'll get battered. They come to the Emirates, and God knows. No, I'd play our top 11, first 11, Fergus. And then if we are winning, rotate it in the second half. We can't go into this game resting our best players. We've got to win this game. You do realise if we do not win and we lose, or we could be back down to 9th again.
We don't. Yeah.
No, we have to be face facts. You know me, I'm very direct, very honest. We need to win this game to keep that momentum going that we had before Liverpool. This, we always say, this is the biggest game. This is a really big game for our momentum and carrying on where we left off. Look at Liverpool as a blip. 12:30 at the Emirates. I would say that the atmosphere will be quite good, actually. I think a lot of the fans, the away fans, have been magnificent this season. I haven't been to many away games, only the one at the Etihad. And I was with the City, so I could see all the Arsenal fans, and they were phenomenal. They were. And
you were eating wine and cheese. Come on, tell everybody you were eating wine and cheese.
I was in the club's level of it, but we did have wine and cheese. We got one free drink or something. But no, I was watching the Arsenal fans, and I was really proud because we did capitulate, and we were absolutely bloody awful that day, but yet our fans stayed and sung. And when you hear things about our fans did this, our fans did that, I was there watching it. They didn't do anything. They just sung their hearts out, and they have done this year. And I think more and more are getting behind Mikel. So I do think the atmosphere, and the boys, I do feel the atmosphere at 12:30 on Saturday, if it's not pissing down with rain, it'll be good, and we'll be singing. And it would be great to have some fantastic new songs that we could all sing around the ground. I'm in the East Stand Upper. We've actually started singing a little bit more now, which is good. But we need that atmosphere. But
that's what's been great around the ground. That's what's been great around the ground, though, that there's been quite a churn of some of the old season ticket holders, and I don't mean old in age, but some people who've possibly couldn't be bothered to go and they've just rented the tickets out or sold them to tourists or whatever, and there's a young blood coming through, and that's why you are probably getting some atmosphere in the East Upper and so on. Trev, John Malone says, I'll go on the record here, if he doesn't play the best 11 and we end up with Pepe or stuff like that, we're in trouble. Would you not give Martinelli a run out just for the sake of maybe changing up a little bit?
Right. Yeah. Well, do you know what? I was just sitting here thinking about that, Fergus. Firstly, I think that you're partly right about the atmosphere, but you've got to remember that players being positive and players looking like they want to win games lifts the crowd as well. And it has been a pleasure to watch at times this year, although we've not scored as many goals as we want. So that lifts the fans. Players lift fans and fans lift players. It's a two-way thing, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say the players.
You know, but as for Saturday, Fergus, if I had to pick a team for Saturday, I would honestly, I wouldn't play Aubameyang, if I'm honest. I know that's going to probably grate with some people, but I wouldn't play Aubameyang. I'd struggle to play Lacazette. I'd look to change that pairing completely. I don't know what to, though, because we haven't got anything else proven, but we couldn't have anything a lot worse. So there's always a point. I definitely want to give Tierney a run out now at left back. He's fit again. Although I wouldn't want to be sending the wrong message to Tavares, I think I would.
Agreed.
I think I want to give Tierney a run out. And other than that, you play your best side. And if they're fit, you play them. You know, we all know that Pepe has not been good enough so far in his career. We hope that he will be, but we all know Pepe has not been good enough. And so you play your best team. But it's the strikers. Right at the start of the show, Fergus, we said about the strikers. And I would honestly, if I was Arteta now, I would honestly be thinking, I've got to drop Aubameyang to the bench. I've got to send a message here that I've realised where our weakness has been. And you play Martinelli or you play Balogun and you see how they go. They didn't go well against Brentford at the start of the season, as you and me and Ben, I don't know if you were there, Princess, but we all witnessed Balogun and Martinelli get a start in that game and they were poor. But, you know, you can first game of the season, nervous kids, you can forgive them that. So, yeah, I'll play the best team against Newcastle, but I wouldn't play Aubameyang. Quite likely wouldn't play Lacazette. I'd look to change both of them, Fergus.
So, do you want to give me a score prediction for this game then?
Who are you starting with, me?
Trevor, yeah,
4-0.
he was talking to you.
4-0.
It will always be 4-0. Ben, what's your thoughts?
The Newcastle game, absolutely play our strongest side. I think the only two changes I'll probably do is bring Tierney in, and as much as I do want to see him get dropped, and I do want to see Arteta back up his ruthlessness that he has been with other players, with Aubameyang. I think Aubameyang is going to start, but otherwise he's got to go full strength. It's an absolutely must-win game. It's a must-win game to get a reaction, to see a reaction, and then we go into the two tough away games.
Ferg, just before you go to Amanda, mate, I want to praise Amanda here because I'm sorry, Ferg, to butt in. I never normally butt in, but I'm going to on this occasion, right?
Never.
You see, when people like you, Ferg, and Ben and myself, when we give predictions and when we talk about games, we let our hearts rule our head, don't we? And you see, Princess gave the best summing up earlier when she said she didn't expect us to win at Liverpool. She's being logical. I'm never logical. I expected us to go to Liverpool and win 4-0 because, you know, that's how I am. My heart rules my head.
You mean you're mental?
Know?
You mean you're mental, yeah?
Exactly. I'm a mental Arsenal fan, Princess. And when I'm on this forum like this, I should try and be more logical like you were earlier, but I can't. I can't do it.
Trev. Never change. We love you for who you are. And I love the fact that you think we're going to win 4-0 every game. But if you'd have said that to me before the Liverpool game, I would have probably laughed out loud at you. I'm going to go 3-1. I don't think Newcastle are as bad as their position. I think someone else said that as well. I think they're going to come and give us a game. They've got to do something because they don't want to be relegated, do they?
No,
I've gone 3-1, Jerry. Ben, that's what mine.
Ben, Trevor rudely cut you off the very second you're about to give your 4-0 score prediction.
It's all right, Trev. I'll let you off. COVID has obviously hit you on the head. It's fine. No, I'll go 3-1 as well. I thought 3-1 today, and I'm going to stick with it.
I haven't even thought about it. I think Ramsdale is just outstanding, so I feel more confident in our back line. So I'm going to go for a 2-0. Only because our forward line isn't good enough at the moment. And I also want to know, is it like the OAP version of the Man in Black, like the dairy milk thing that Trevor's been filmed for tonight? Or is it just,
Fergus, it's just what I happen to be wearing today. I'm wearing a long sleeve black jumper.
So am I. I'm in black.
Thank you, Princess. Thank you very much, Princess.
Nothing wrong with black, Fergus.
No,
nothing.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with black, but it's just like the look, the turtleneck, and everything else that Trevor's got on. He looks like, oh, it's all because the lady loves.
You two are like brothers, honestly.
Fergus, you should be wearing black, son, because black is very slimming. Right, and trust me, you need it, mate. So wear black.
Trevor, get
Next
back in
time.
your box that way.
What were we gonna-
John Malone has got you right. He thinks you look like a vicar. Personally,
Fergus.
John,
Fergus,
in your previous role, you probably would have nicked him. Come on.
What's your prediction?
I said
Whose?
2-0.
Oh, did you? Okay. Sorry, because Trev was talking, so I couldn't hear.
We've been very naughty.
What a surprise.
We've been very, very, very naughty tonight in that we haven't mentioned someone who was remarkable in the Liverpool game and has been remarkable since he came in the side and is going to continue to be remarkable. Fergus just mentioned it and it jogged my memory. We've not mentioned Aaron Ramsdale, right?
No.
And we do need to say, that we've got an old-fashioned goalkeeper. We've got a complete and utter Fruit Loop in goal. It reminds me a bit of old John Burridge. John Burridge. I'm fortunate enough to speak very occasionally with John Burridge on social media. I've never met the man. I'd love to meet John Burridge. A lot of you won't remember him, but put it in YouTube and put John Burridge warm up, and you'll see what kind of man I'm talking about. I'm so impressed with Aaron Ramsdale, with his attitude, with
Love
the
him.
way he carries himself and the way he's so fired up behind the team. And we spoke about it just now, didn't we? When we were talking about the fans with
Father Trev. Sorry, Gary Ward is just something. Father Trev.
Fergus, let's talk about football a minute, right? Because don't interrupt me when I'm talking about Aaron Ramsdale, right? Because
I go on mute.
he's become. You need to. I nearly swore then. He's such an important part of our team now. He's changed us. And we were talking about the fans just now, right? Players like Ramsdale is what creates an atmosphere, right? Players like Ramsdale is what creates an atmosphere. I don't know if he's captain material because I don't think he's quite on the wavelength. But by God, he's been a class act, and he's as a fan, speaking for myself, he's lifted me. He's lifted me as a fan. And Fergus, I wasn't going to meet you on Saturday, and now I'm definitely not going to meet you.
Cup of tea, Father. Cup of tea.
You know what? After we've gone off air, right, I'll get a message from Fergus, right? And it'll say, Trev, that top was very slimming. Can I borrow it for next week?
No, it'd be like a marquee on me, mate. It'd be like a marquee on me.
Let's talk about Aaron Ramsdale, Fergus, because
sorry.
we all
Trevor's
love
just
him,
taken
and
off.
I'm so pleased because the nonsensical abuse he took before. I say it again, I always say the same thing. Do not judge anyone till he's put that shirt on and crossed the white line.
Absolutely.
I didn't even realise the abuse was going on because I was like, oh, we bought a goalkeeper, that'd be good. My City mate messaged me straight away and went, what have you bought him? He's dog shite. What I was like, really? Is he that bad? I didn't really know much about him. And I've kept that message and I keep sending it to him every game. And I say, judge him when he plays in a different team, in a different jersey, and he crosses that white line for the Arsenal. And he crossed that white line for the Arsenal. And to this day, he has never let us down.
No, he hasn't. Far from it. The opposite. He's lifted us. He's improved us, Princess.
Trev. John Malone has said, I thought Fergus looked a bit slimmer lately.
Yeah. Have you seen John Malone? He's always 3/4 drunk. He can't see. Anyway.
But he tells great jokes. He does tell fantastic jokes.
Yeah.
He does.
If that's a good night's sleep, listening to John Malone joke, you're gone for 8 hours solid.
Guys, listen, it's been funny. It's gone all over the place.
Ben is trying to talk. Ben is trying to talk, but you've muted him.
Oh, sorry, Ben.
So, I think you've all actually said exactly the same as what I think. I think him alone has just literally generated such a different feel. I mean, those away ends have been so good. Like the way he comes over to the away ends, his clenched fists and his interaction is unbelievable. I mean, he's just given everybody a lift. I absolutely love him. I mean, I was for his signing. He had I think he was player of the season for the last 2 out of the last 3 years or something. He got relegated at 2 clubs, so clearly he was doing something right. And like Amanda said, you can only judge him in a decent league and a decent club, and he's not let anybody down, and he's an absolute fan's favourite. He's absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love him.
Look what Heath has just said though about Ramsdale. He's the missing link from the back defence and breeds confidence in the players in front of him. Sums it up. Sorry, I've just read that, but yeah. I truly believe that. Yeah. You're right, Heath.
Yeah. He loves. He does love Arsenal. I think he loves whatever club he plays for. He is a West Brom fan.
Listen, we'd be in a.
Sorry, what's that?
We'd be in a.
I love Trev. He just jumps in.
Listen, not so many seasons ago, we would be at away games, and after the game, we'd get beat 1 or 2-0, and every Arsenal player, bar 1 or 2, wouldn't even acknowledge them away fans. They'd just traipse off the field and be gone. Not even acknowledge the fact that we've spent loads of money travelling hundreds and hundreds, sometimes thousands of miles to go and watch them play. I'm not going to name names because we all know who they were. And I said it before and I'll say it again. If players are like that, it's not going to lift me as a fan. I'm not going to stay till the end of a game that we're losing 2 or 3-0 when I know the players are just going to walk off the field and not even acknowledge the fact we've made an effort to go and cheer them on. But that's all changed
Trev,
now.
He may well have been Arsene Wenger's man. He may well have been better than Zidane. But yeah, I do agree exactly what you say. And the other thing as well, Trev, with Ramsdale, what he does, he gets the banter. He gets what it is like to be a football fan. Look at this. So that clip is of that's a clip from at Leicester where everyone's going, "Ooh, you're crap," and he just goes, "Hey," and he plays up to it. So yeah, I thought I like the guy, the way he comes over to us and the way he gets involved is brilliant. Yeah, guys,
Fergus, I was thinking today, someone actually said it. If Ramsdale is actually injured, I reckon he's the sort of player you would see in an away end.
Yeah,
he'd be well amongst it, and he would be joining in all the songs and everything. I can imagine it now. He's just one of those players. I absolutely love him. It's not that when Trev said about the players coming over, we, like you said, we've been so used to players sulking, go down the tunnel, straight off the pitch, and we've had 2 or 3 in the past literally come over. The man you give credit for is Mikel Arteta here, because he's got that about him that he sends them all over, and they all want to do it, and that can only give you that feel good factor between the players and the fans.
Yeah, Ben, you're so right, mate. And if there's an atmosphere, if we get a good atmosphere going in that stadium this Saturday against Newcastle, what do you think them players are going to be thinking? They're going to be thinking, we got beat 4-0 last week. We got beat by a better side, but they're still here. They're still all here. They're still all shouting and screaming for us. They're still all shouting our names out, you know. We're going to go out there on the field and we're going to play some good football. And that's why I said, players lift fans, fans lift players. And at the moment, with the games I've been to this year, I've had to miss a few because of bloody being old and poorly. It's been a massive two-way thing going on. There's a connection between the players and the fans. There's a massive connection. And as long as that stays, we'll be all right. We will be all right. I can't wait for Saturday now. Princess, Ben, Ferg,
you've been a few weeks.
I can't wait for Saturday. I mean, I'm still not right. I'm still not right. I'm still struggling a bit. But there's no way I'm missing it. You might see me with a mask on, but...
Take care, yes.
I'm so excited. And then we got Man United away. I'm not missing that. Then we got Everton away. I'm not missing that. I just want to be watching my football club.
You got Leeds away with me.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, we've just... Excuse me. I've not had this feeling for years. Even though we've just been beaten 4-0, right? I want to go and watch the Arsenal play. I'm desperate to go every week and watch the Arsenal play. And that's what it's like.
Trev, there's been a couple of comments in here. Like, we're most of us are pro Arteta on here. Well, actually, I don't say I'm pro anybody. I'm pro Arsenal. Andy Land and Sentiment and a few others have made comments about another outside European place, and you still Arteta in. And that's the flavour of things. Look, the title of this one is Be the Best and Beat the Rest. Those top three that I mentioned, Chelsea, Liverpool and Man City, very few people have got a chance of beating them. All we've got to do is go out and give our all against the other 16 opposition teams. We're a point outside the top four. Although, Christ, I never even imagined we'd get into top four this season. And if we can get the forward line sorted out in January, we're there. And we've really overran.
Ferg, let me just come back, mate. I don't care if we've overran. This is lovely. I'm lovely talking with these guys, right? It's we said it earlier in the show, Ferg. Liverpool took 5-6 years to create what they've got now, right? Nobody understands, or people do understand, but I wonder if they accept the task that not just Arteta, but Emery had. I have sympathy with Emery. We all know that, right? But that's in the past now. So their task was massive, huge. We had a team of underperformers, underachievers, and more importantly, we had a team of couldn't care less people, right? Players. And that is changing. Now, I did go on record and say that Arteta, for me, this Christmas coming, would be a great point to judge Arteta. 2.5 years in charge, I think, off the top of my head, and he'd have had a long time. But for me, he's got longer now. He's going to have my support for longer, because anyone that says they could have foreseen Alba's dramatic lack of... I know it's been over 18 months now, but he signed the new contract then. Anyone that says he could have foreseen Alba's dramatic loss of form is probably not telling the truth, because no one could foresee that such a dramatic fall from grace, And no way Arteta would have been thinking, I'm going to have to go out and buy myself at least one new striker. He would have thought that was where his safest bet was, and he had to build from behind him, which he's done. He's built a back five that we could be proud of. The midfield, I'm umming and ahhing about it, but I love the fact that we've got internationals, Saka and Smith Rowe, and Odegaard's Norway captain. So now we just move that step forward, and I want to see what he does in January, and I'm excited, but we mentioned it. Oh, God, I miss Europe. You boys and girls know that I love my trips to Europe, and I've missed it greatly this year. So top half a dozen for me, if we can. It's an improvement on previous years, and I won't question Arteta if we get in the top half a dozen, and I'm going abroad next year watching the Arsenal play. And I want everyone, if you people say Arsenal, it's Arsenal. I saw Lokonga say it this week. I play for Arsenal.
Yeah, I nearly said something to him.
Yeah, pull them up on it. They don't play for Arsenal. They play for the Arsenal. And it's a capital T. Capital T. The Arsenal. We're special. We're a special club. People don't like us. Why? Because we're a special club. We've got class. We've got history. We are the Arsenal. On that note, Fergus, I'm not talking all night because my voice is going. No. I'm tired.
Good.
I've had enough. I'm going to listen to you waffle on for another couple of minutes, and then I'm done.
Good. Amanda, very one sentence briefly, minimum expectations for on Arteta for what Arteta's got to achieve for our so-called love-in for Arteta to change.
Top 6, Carabao Cup, I'll be happy. You told me to be quick.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Yeah, it's got to be top 6. Get back into Europe, get on a couple of European tours, and Carabao Cup would be lovely. We've definitely got to go for all competitions, haven't we? So, yeah, it'd be nice to get that.
And listen, at the end of the day, we all just want to see. No, Trev, stop a second. You'll get a moment. Let me just take that one down.
I better do. Don't let me forget my drift.
No, you won't. I just can't wait to see you in Europe again. I agree. Listen, let's get a little bit more cheerful. We have got old man Trevor Hillsy Gooner all the way out in. What's the name
Trev.
of the town you're in? Where are you? This is a pre-recorded
Hello,
bit.
boys. Can you hear me? Because you're on my iPhone.
Trev, Halloween was Thursday, mate.
Am I that bad?
Trev, you're looking good, son. You're looking good.
I'm drunk, boys. We've had a few beers. It's €1 a bottle. We're in Guimarães. I don't care about the manager. I don't care about the players. It's a proper away trip, isn't it? European away. So I'm drunk and I'm with me lad, and yeah, we're having fun.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah. How you doing?
Trev, I was going to say, do you remember it? You don't, clearly.
I do remember it. I always laugh at the next bit there when you asked me. I think you asked me what the atmosphere was like, and the beer was that cheap in the hotel bar. I hadn't left the bar. I've been in the hotel bar all night. I hadn't left it. I think it was €1 a beer. But talking of beer, Fergus, this is what I was going to finish off with. We haven't given James Power the credit he deserves because he's had the comment of the night up there talking of beer. They need to serve better beer in the stadium to help build an atmosphere. And I know it's said with some joviality, but it's right. People are not going to pay £6 to drink the dregs.
Trevor, you joke. Myself and my brother had a pint at the last game, the Watford game, and it was £6.20 each. So we spent Did you buy it? I don't know. I thought he bought it, but it was filth. It literally turned my stomach, and I had that much out of it. It was absolutely awful. Look, on that note, let's look forward to the Newcastle game. Thank you, Ben, for joining us 2 weeks in a row. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it.
Fergus, can I quickly say, on this last minute, I didn't actually answer the question about the Gooner, the fanzine. Just quickly.
Yes.
All it is literally about generating the feel-good atmosphere amongst the players. It's just a column. Leif Yusuf has asked me to put in a few words, and I'm absolutely delighted, honoured to make a contribution. There'll be a few new songs, and just generating some of the old songs back to the stands, and the feel-good atmosphere really. And it's good. It's good. I enjoy doing it, and I've done another one after the Liverpool game, which was put online, which I think you saw, and I've done one after the Leicester game, and I did the previous issue of the Gooner as well. So and I've got to do one for this weekend for the next issue. So it's a decent read. I only get one page, but yes, it's positive, and it's about just basically about generating a better atmosphere with some new songs along the way, and then hopefully things change with regards to atmosphere, because one thing I am trying to push for with a few others is we need to have a decent singing section in the Emirates, because apparently it was Red Action. It was supposed to be the when we went to the Emirates, they were supposed to be the ones to do it, and I don't really hear much from them, to be honest. And I think something needs to change. I know you've got the group, the Ashburton Army and the Clock End, but they're needing their own allocation, which I think they've got now after a bit of a push. They're in there making a lot of noise. We're just needing a lot of like-minded fans in one area, 2,000-3,000, to start getting the rest of the ground going, and then drowning out some of these boring, dull chants that we're hearing week in, week out, and replaced with better ones. So it's just hopefully some people take note, and then we can only try anyway, can't you?
Doing all right,
brilliant. Get your Gooner. Get your Gooner. Well done, mate. Amanda, thanks very much for joining us again. Tell everyone where they can't find you. Social media, socialite.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I mainly talk about the Arsenal, sarcasm.
Good girl.
Good girl. My dad would be proud. The Arsenal, sarcasm, and sticking up for everybody that actually gets trolled, basically. Gooner Girl 1969. That's me on Twitter.
Trev, good to see you fitting well. Get out and deliver those milk tray, and I'll see you on Thursday. Make sure you don't leave any in your pockets.
Do you know what, son? Thank you. people, a lot of people only see you and me on here, mate, but they probably do realise that we're really good mates, you know, and we're close. And coming on, I'm still on not at my best, and I've not felt my best, but coming on here tonight, mate, has lifted me no end. It's made me feel 10 times better talking to Princess and Clock End Ben, and you were here as well, mate. So it's
great to see you, mate. Great to see you back.
It's so pleased that you're okay and on the mend.
Yeah, love you.
Disappointing, really.
I have to go. I'm so sorry. I should have been gone
I'm going to go.
but I
Exit
love you
music's
all.
going.
I know.
I'm a Celebrity comes next. See you later, everybody.
Bye.
You've been listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons and Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too.